afternoon. We are here for the virtual pre-bid walkthrough for the roof and HVAC replacement project at the Maplewood Municipal building. There are two sections of flat roof at the back of the building that both will have the same work taking place. At the moment we are on the back right section, which is indicated in the construction documents and key plans. Part of removing the entire roof system here will also include HVAC removal and replacement. The roof system that will be removed is going to be replaced with a new liquid applied membrane roofing system. That roofing system is specified as a Suprema Alsan system, and that will include the fields and all the flashings with the liquid membrane. Part of the triggering mechanism for this project is that there are leaks in the wall below the windows. As you can see, the ductwork that was installed years ago is in front of the windows, making it near impossible to prepare and provide proper maintenance to that. So the new scope of work, in addition to the roof replacement work, will be to remove the HVAC systems, replace them. The new system, one of the new systems, will have ductwork within the ceiling below us. That will be a new suspended ceiling that we will see when we go inside the building. So all the ductwork that you see in front of the windows will be removed, as will the penetrations through the roof. The second HVAC system that is farther back toward the windows of the main building, that unit is connected to an air handler which is up in the attic of the main building. While we're doing the roof, it is an appropriate time to remove and replace that unit with a new unit. Because that's going to be replaced, part of the domino effect is to remove and replace the unit up in the attic. We will go up to the attic later so that you can see that unit. The next part of this work will be to temporarily remove storm windows that are covering the stained glass windows at the committee meeting room. So the windows behind the current ductwork have original stained glass windows that will remain. The storm windows that were installed approximately 10 years ago will be temporarily removed, set aside for reuse, so that the flashing can extend up onto the windowsill of the existing windows. Those windows will also, at the outside frames, will be painted with proper caulking as well applied there. After that waterproofing is completed, the storm windows will be reinstalled at all three locations of these windows. At the entire perimeter of the roof, you'll see the parapet walls. The flashings will go up to and under the coping stones. The flashing that is existing will remain. If there's any damaged flashing, or if it breaks off while the work is being done, there's a unit price specified in the bid documents to remove and replace those sections of flashing. The joints at the coping stones will also be raked out and be pointed up to match the existing grout. The coping stones will all remain in the current locations and configuration. It'll just be the pointing of those coping stones. And that is the scope of work at this section of the roof. This area, after the flat roof section and HVAC work and windows are done, will be up at the slate roof areas. Right now, the water sheds off the slate roof and lands on the ductwork here. The idea is to remove some of the slate roof and create a new trough copper gutter system. The entire length of that roof, approximately 50 feet, and that will be approximately 2 courses above the bottom edge of the slate roof. slate roof will be removed as needed to install the new trough gutter. Once the trough gutter is installed per the bid documents, the slate will be reinstalled above and below accordingly to provide the complete slate roof system. The existing slates are to be removed carefully and to be reinstalled. There will be some additional slate removed that's not going to be installed where the new gutters are, and that slate should be stockpiled for reuse, so that if there's any damaged slate, they can be replaced with slate in better conditions. As you can see, there are also snow and ice guards up on the roof. They will be removed and replaced with new snow guards, and there will be a couple rows of those just above the gutter, and there will be another second series of rows up at the midpoint of the roof in accordance with the bid documents. And that will drain right down onto this newly done flat roof that we're standing on, onto splash guards. And the last piece of work with respect to the copper work will be to install a scupper through the rear parapet wall. And that will be a couple inches above the flat roof and right at the midpoint between the flat roof and the coping stones. We are now on the back left portion of the roof. So with the left and right portions of the roof, the right-hand portion is called out as base bid roof area B. That work is intended to be done first, and depending on budgeting and bidding prices, the second phase of work would be the roof that we're standing on now, which is roof area A, and that is the alternate bid. This roof is the same scope of work, removing the existing roof, replacing it with a new liquid applied membrane roofing system, and flashings at all the perimeters. The flashings, you can see better here, there's no ductwork in the way, will extend up and onto the window sill. So again, the existing storm windows will be removed. The new flashing will go up and onto the bottom face of the existing window. The windows will be painted, will be caulked accordingly. The trim that is outside of the storm windows, the vertical legs of trim are to be removed and replaced to match existing, because there are areas that is deteriorated, and instead of doing little segments here and there, we are recommending that we replace the entire vertical length, the whole 4-foot height of that. For the heads, only in any discovered areas that are damaged would need to be replaced. Once that window work is completed, the storm windows will be reinstalled in all 3 window locations, similar to the other side of the roof. With respect to HVAC, the unit in front of us serves the meeting room that's directly below us. That unit will be removed and replaced with a new heat pump system, with the wall unit mounted on the wall in the committee room, and a smaller rooftop unit will be mounted here. And again, the purpose of this is to minimize penetrations through the roof and be able to tie this new HVAC replacement work with the roofing work so that all the penetrations are flashed properly and all done at the same time with the roof work. With the HVAC work on both sections of roof, there is gas work that will have to be done, as well as electrical work that has to be done. Needless to say, any subcontractors that are working on the job have to be properly licensed with the state of New Jersey. They will have to pull permits, so the electrical subcontractor, plumbing subcontractor, HVAC subcontractor, however that's all divided up, everybody will submit their own permit applications and have their own paperwork in order. The coping stones, again, on this side of the roof, will also be pointed up, so all the coping stones will remain, and they will be cleaned up with the, you can see a little bit of asphalt residue where some old repairs were done, so the coping stones will be cleaned up and pointed up, and all remaining in their original locations. This portion of work to be done on this side of the building will be up at the gable roof, at the slate roof, and that scope of work will be identical to the scope of work that was discussed at the back right section of the roof. Some of the slate will be removed so that the new copper trough gutter will be constructed in place for the entire 50-foot length. After the copper gutter is completed, the slate will then be reinstalled above and below the gutter accordingly. Same here, there will also be some slate left over from the gutter removal. Any slate on either section of the roof that is left over at the end of the job will be stockpiled and saved for the township to reuse should they need it in the future after this work is completed. And the last part of that, again, will be the snow and ice guards that will be installed above the new copper gutter and up at the midpoint of the roof, with several courses as specified in the construction documents. That work will complete the exterior roof and HVAC work for the alternate bid roof area B that we're on. We are now up in the attic. The camera view that you're looking at is if you climb up the ladder that was shown at the top of the interior stairs and is still photographed. That is, needless to say, that's just a man access for coming up and down for easy type of work, maintenance access. But that will not be enough for the HVAC work. The HVAC unit that you're looking at right now is going to remain, however, it's going to be temporarily removed so that the new unit can come up through the ceiling and the old unit can go down through the ceiling. That means that this unit will be removed. If any framing needs to be removed, the framing has already been headed off from these units. This attic is above the second floor engineering and construction offices, which we will go down to after this. So again, the unit that you see now, temporarily removed to allow access for the new units. Old unit to go out, new unit to go in, and then this will be reconnected in its original location and be confirmed that it's working correctly. The second part of this work, which really is the driving part, is the whole air handler that's going to be replaced, which is approximately 10 feet away from this, behind this in the photograph. This is the unit that is connected to the rooftop unit on roof area B. All this work is part of the base bid work. So again, this unit you're looking at will be removed. It will be brought down through the hole in the ceiling. The new unit will come up through the hole in the ceiling. It'll be installed in this location, and it will be connected to the existing ductwork. The HVAC replacement work does not change the ductwork that you see exiting out the left side of this unit. All that ductwork will remain and be connected. All the ductwork that you see up above will again be disconnected and reconnected to the new unit. Upon completion of the installation of the new unit, the unit will be tested to make sure that the whole system is working and that it is working properly with all of the existing ductwork that's remaining in place. So again, with this work, as mentioned outside, there is plumbing work, electrical work, HVAC work that all ties into the licensed subcontractor's scope of work. We're in the hallway at the top of the stairs that go up to the engineers and building department. When you come up those steps, the attic access, the ladder that we climbed up, is in that closet. To the left of this hallway are the offices for the engineering department and the construction offices. We were just up in the attic above the ceiling. The diffuser that you see in the ceiling is where the existing ductwork will be removed temporarily to provide access to bring out the old units through the hole and bring the new units back up through the hole into the attic. So there's no intended design and construction work down here other than a limited scope of work to remove that grill, get the units up and down, get the grill put back in place, just do some minor touch-up paint only in the immediate vicinity of the grills. That will limit the scope of work in this area. As you can see, this office is occupied and it's always busy, so this will require coordination with the township to be able to safe off areas for work so that the employees have safe access in and out of their areas, as well as the contractors having adequate area to work. And that will complete the work on this second floor. We are now downstairs on the first floor administrative offices. These offices are below the right side roof area B, which is all part of the base bid work. When the HVAC work is done, the ductwork up on the roof will be removed. The new units are going to have ductwork in the ceiling. Again, to minimize penetrations to the roof, there will be new ductwork up in the ceiling. After that work is done, there will be a new suspended ceiling installed in this whole room, plus the room behind it. You'll notice on the reflected ceiling plan, the last room at the back right already has an existing suspended ceiling that's going to remain. When existing ductwork is removed from the ceilings here and lights are removed, any work that's done that would leave holes in the ceiling, even though they're going to be up in the plenum, all those holes have to be closed back up and patched to match the existing adjacent area. We don't want to leave any openings in concealed spaces. When the new suspended ceiling is installed, we understand and realize that there may be scuffs on walls, a little bit of imperfections. This is not a painting project. However, at the completion of the ceiling work, any spackle or damaged areas, defects relevant and only related to the new work will be touched up with paint to match as close as possible to what is existing. We are not repainting all the walls. It will only be painting any new affected work, and that will limit the scope of painting work in the entire right side administrative offices. We are now in the meeting room underneath the roof area A, which is the back left portion of roof area. The existing HVAC unit is going to be removed and replaced, and you can see the diffuser up in the ceiling, which too will be removed and replaced. The new HVAC will be provided by a heat pump system, which will be mounted up on the ceiling at the upper right of this room. And that will be up above the cornice trim. That will be tied to a new rooftop unit, as mentioned when we were upstairs. And that will be the scope of work for this room. When the ceiling is patched in, it will just be patched in to match the existing. It'll be painted to match the existing as close as possible. And as mentioned in the other offices, we are not looking to paint the entire ceiling. We're not looking to make a painting project of this whole room in case the township wants to do that down the road. But for now, we want to get the HVAC work done, get the ceilings patched in to be clean, match the existing adjacent surface, and minimize the scope of work in this room. That will complete the work in this area. We're standing in the committee room now, which is the center of the building. Roof area A is up at the left-hand windows. Roof area B is outside of those upper right windows that you can see right now. Part of the initial issue, the building having been built in 1930 has certainly is having a good life. We have to continue to provide that. But if you look close at the middle right window, you can see some damage to the plaster from leaking. So the whole objective is to get both of those flat roofs waterproofed very well, re-roofed, get the windows waterproofed very well, storm windows back in place, the ductwork will be removed. It'll make it much easier for the construction and for the maintenance of these areas. This work will not include plaster repair work because there's going to be more plaster repair work that will be done by the township. However, that plaster repair work, although it's not included in this contract, will be done side by side under a third party retained by the township. So one of the requirements is that the contractor that is awarded the project will have to coordinate the schedule with the township to be able to work schedules out so that the plaster repair work can be done separately, and then the bidding contractor for both phases for roof area A and roof area B will be to apply a moisture barrier inside the mural niche. So the paintings that you see on the right side and left side of the building are murals that the township owns. These are specified in the documents as unit pricing to install the moisture barrier. The murals will be removed by the township after the plaster work is done by others. Then the bidding contractor will be able to install the moisture barrier. At a later date, the township can then go back and install the murals on their own. That is the only scope of work in this room, and again, that's on the left side for bid alternate A and on the right side for base bid work for roof area B.
We would also like to point out another very important aspect of this HVAC removal work. The existing exterior ductwork that is going to be removed has a tar covering that contains ACM, asbestos-containing materials. The specifications for the removal of this ductwork, as well as the air monitoring during construction, can be found in the asbestos abatement section of the specification book. The sampling memorandum for these asbestos samples can be found in Appendix B of the specification book. The bid due date is May 7, 2020 at 11 a.m. The bids will be received at the Maplewood Municipal building. Due to the current COVID situation, we are recommending that you submit your bids 24 hours prior to that to account for additional time in shipping and receiving. Also, any questions or requests for information shall be submitted at least 9 business days prior to the bid opening to allow for any clarifications and or addenda to be issued 7 business days prior to the bid due date. This is in accordance with the bid specifications. And lastly, but very importantly, is that you are all aware of the current and often changing COVID situation around the country. Therefore, the contractor, all of the subcontractors, and any other people entering the site on behalf of the contractor shall be responsible to adhere to all federal, state, and municipal regulations and executive orders regarding the COVID situation, PPEs, otherwise known as personal protection equipment, and practicing social distancing at all times on township property. Thank you for viewing the pre-bid walkthrough, and we look forward to seeing you at the bid opening.